Okay, if it is too long, then managing entire thing will be difficult. For example, here first person is reported by 3 people. Okay, now one of them is reported by 5, so the span of control has increased. Okay, because again number of reportees to these 5 are different, right? So wider span of control is preferred when there is a mechanical kind of job. Okay, so we have similar, there are 10 machinists. Okay, they are doing similar job, then it is very easy to monitor them. Okay, but if there are 10 different jobs done by 10 different people, then having that control over 10 people is extremely difficult. Okay, so wider span of control is desired or preferred when there is a mechanical job or job in which there is a lot of repetition between individual to individual. Okay, so this is the comparison between the flat versus tall. Okay, so tall is in where you have multiple hierarchies, but the span of control is small. Okay, but while in case of flat organization, you have less hierarchies, but span of control is more. Okay, now what are the positives and negatives? What do you think could be a benefit of having tall organization and flat organization? Can you have look at the number of levels? So there are, I think, 6 levels, right? In the first organization there are 3, right? 5, I mean there is 6 chief executive, right? There cannot be yes or no answer in any kind of management exam. It has to be specific to the company, it has to be specific to the time and what are their aspirations. Okay, for example, Hindustan Unilever will have tall structure. Okay, because there is a regional head or national head, regional will have 3-4 people, again further down, right? But organization like a scientific instrument supplier, they can have similar structures, flat structure. Reason being, they are working in very niche area. See, there are limited customer they are serving to, right? So this could be good. I mean, flat organization could be good for them. For example, Atlas Copco, right? Or even IT companies will have flat organization for the sales. Okay, but for the delivery they will have tall. Okay. I'm sorry? Okay, still, but what will happen if there are 10 different jobs? Okay, there is a coding division, there is a server division, there is a testing division, there is a production division, right? So these 4 require different skill set, right? You will have to have these 4 different groups. Okay, clear? I mean, you can relate with your existing organization, how many levels are up there, how many levels are below to you, and how many reportees a normal person have. Okay, but again, as I told, there is no right or wrong answer, frankly. Okay, now first thing we looked at is span of control. Now decentralization or centralization. Okay, what is mean by centralization or decentralization is authority of decision making, whether it is with a particular individual or a group of individual, or the authority lies with the multiple stakeholders. Okay, maybe a small shop owner will decide everything, or small company, but a large company like Tata Motors or Cummins or Infosys, there has to be some level of decentralization. Okay, why centralization preferred is organization can respond much faster compared to decentralized. There is a clear decision authority, so he or she can take decision very fast. Plus, managerial control is extremely, I would say, better in case of centralization, because one person or one group of individuals are controlling everything, right? So no matter even a single rupee decision comes, it will go to them. Okay. Plus, there is more likelihood of consistency because one person is taking. So consistency could be good or bad, but consistently good or bad decision will be taken. Okay. And in case of centralization, since you know who is supposed to contact for in case of any dispute or any decision, you will reduce some time as well as cost. Okay. But when it comes to, there are obviously downside of it. First of all, if there is a big organization, then let's say organization is working in 10 offices or 10 countries, it is next to impossible to have a centralization. Okay. Second is, if there is a centralized team, okay, so other people are not expected to take the decisions, right? So since they are not expected to take decisions, there is less opportunity to grow. So that will result, and that will call for decentralization. Okay. But again, decentralization has a flip side, which is on the pro for centralization. So typically, companies go with a mixed approach. Okay. So at frontline managers are supposed to take care of some decisions which are up to their purview. Okay. For example, a sales guy in Infosys would be allowed to work in, let's say, plus minus 5% of the bid value. He is allowed to take a call, because if he come back to India, ask for a result, then by the time others would give counter offer and the result, the bid, the project has gone, right? So he will be allowed to have that level of decision. Okay. So companies take a mid approach. Okay. So in a nutshell, centralization is preferred when organization is small or a individual is responsible for everything. But while case of say decentralization, it's as an organization it has to be a decentralized. So same thing what we discussed. So low decentralization or high centralization eliminates the additional responsibility and not desired by. Okay, there are some people who don't expect or who like to have that status quo. They don't want to grow. They want to continue with what they are doing. Okay, for them, a decision maker and just a follower is a good. Okay. Second, in case of high decentralization or low centralization, can eliminate levels of management, making leaner organization, because each individual is empowered to take some decision. He need not to go back to somebody and take the decision. Okay. Again, for low decentralization, permit crucial decisions to be made by individuals who have a big picture. Okay. So in specific cases, an individual will have more visibility over the situation or more knowledge, then the low decentralization will help. Okay. For example, as I given example of scientific instrument. So instrument which is manufactured by a company for a particular company, controlled by individual, he is the most, I would say, he is the only person who can take the decision, right? He is the right person. Other person will come, he will understand the issue and then solve. It is very difficult. Okay. Right. In case of decentralization, the flip side of it is, if there is an issue at customer end which is at remote location, then if somebody has to resolve that issue, right, and take some decision, then the person who is attending the issue, he should take the decision. Okay, that calls for decentralization. Okay. Now, in terms of formalization, degree to which organizations standardize behavior is through rules, procedure, formal training and related mechanism. Okay. Is college is a formalized institute? There are rules. Okay, student obey or not obey, that's a different story, but there are rules. You should attend the college, you should attend the exam, you should perform, I would say, complete all your assignments, everything. So there are rules, right? There are procedures. What time college start, what time college end, what is your class timing, there are rules. there is a formal training. So professors will give you formal training and related mechanisms. So there are classrooms, there are uh, library hall, there are exams conducted. Okay, so that's a formalization. So in a company environment, rules are like who is the employee, what role somebody has to do, how it is to be performed. So these all will come in the formalization structure. Okay, so we have seen span of control, how many reporting structure. Second is centralization, decentralization, and third is uh, formalization. Okay. Now fourth is whether it is a mechanistic or organic structure. Mechanistic is basically organization in which standard procedures are followed. Okay, organization is bound by certain set of specific rules, regulations. Okay, it has a very narrow span of control and high centralization. It means all the people working under or working inside the company are doing similar kind of job. Okay, while in case of organic, there is very little or less formalization. There are very less rules which can be formally made. Okay, wide span of control because everybody is almost equal contributor. Okay, or individual contributor, and very low centralization. So now what do you think, mechanistic or organic? Where do you fit this organization structuring? Industry where you see this can go. Any idea, any thought? Okay. Let's say a manufacturing unit manufacturing the tables. So whether it will be more mechanistic or organic. Mechanistic. And company which is developing a content for a cartoon film. It has to be organic, right? Because more thought, more innovation, and once cartoon is done, I mean, there are no procedures beyond that, right? So it's more on an individualistic job. Okay, so where low centralization has to be there, right? I mean, a graphic designer or whatever they call it, right? He is the key person. Okay, he need not have 10 people reporting to him, or he need not report 10 people, because he is an artist, he is an individual contributor. It has to be an organic organization. Same, I mean, what we discussed. Okay. Now let's discuss about departments. Okay. So college has many departments. MBA will have different, marketing, HR, right? So in case of department or departmentalization, how do you group the employees? This is most important. Okay. Second is areas of common supervision. Okay. There could be people with different skill set coming together and supervised by a different third person. Okay. Next is establish work teams and supervising structure. Okay. So once a department is formed, how the teams are structured and departments, I mean the structure is, supervision structure is formed. Supervision structure is basically hierarchy. Okay. Creates common resource and measure of performance. Okay. There could be different member coming together, but how do you measure their performance? Okay. And encourage informal communication among different units and sub-units. So obviously they cannot work in silo, they will have to work in hand. So let's look at what are the different ways in which departments can be formed and grouped together. It's very simple. Owner and employees. Okay. So owner has direct control over all the employees. So best suitable for small organization or organization with, I would say, very clear process. Okay. Functional structure. So there is a head of company and who all are reporting to him is finance group is reporting to them, production group is reporting to them, and marketing group is reporting to them. Below that there could be different hierarchy. But see, what way they are being structured is their function. Finance as a function is working together. Production as a function working together. Marketing as a function working together. Right? Where this can be most useful is you are working on one product or one set of products. All products share similar kind of manufacturing process or marketing skill or financial knowledge. Okay, their functional structure is more preferred. Divisional structure. Let's take an example of Tata. Okay, Tata has many businesses which are running. I think till few years back they were running 85 businesses. Now I think they are reduced to 60 or some numbers. But can they form functional structure? Can Tata Group entire organization have a good one finance group? No, right? Production next to impossible because they are making car, other side they are making salt. Okay, tea. So it cannot be. The other alternative is they have formed a division between, or they collectively they have, I mean 2-3 businesses will come together and make a business, and those will be reporting to president. Okay. Any example of divisional structure you recollect? They have auto division, IT division, finance division. Finance is not the company finance, but Mahindra car finance division. Okay. I'm not sure about Reliance. They are not formally said that that's a group, but Mahindra clearly, there are different companies who are listed. Right? They say clearly auto sector, finance sector, enterprise sector and IT sector. Sorry? Good. So this is the structure preferred where company is into multiple businesses and they are less interrelated. Okay, the domain knowledge is more important and the resource movement between two businesses is very difficult. So that is the reason this organization can be used there. Now we have looked at simple organization, functional organization and divisional, right? But all have some level of positive and negative. Other alternative is project based matrix structure. This is typical to, and most likely all IT organizations work with this. Okay, there is a set of pool. Okay, there is a engineering set pool, marketing set pool, production set pool, who is reporting to their engineering, marketing and production managers. Okay, but these managers are responsible for their respective job. They are not responsible for a project. Okay, let's say there is a project. So this is a project. Okay, responsibility of project manager. What he will do is he will go to engineering manager, he will get his core resources and they will work for this particular person. This particular person will be responsible for the only delivery. Okay, the technical aspect of the job will be taken care of by engineering manager. Okay. So there is a concept of bench, right? So this pool is basically bench. Okay. So whenever there is a project, they will pull people from the bench and put in the project, right? So there will be a technical manager, there is a project manager, right? Okay, and there could be a hybrid structure as well, right? Within a company, for example, Mahindra again, all their auto sector purchase is by a person, by a single group. They call it as a strategic sourcing business unit. So no matter for which Mahindra Auto division you go and sell, it has to be routed through. So that's a centralized division. Okay, but other functions are independent. So similar way, a hybrid structure can be formed. Okay, this we have already discussed. Okay, now this is a new concept coming up. It is virtual organization. Okay, so core team is somewhere based in USA or Canada. One team is based in India. One team is based in Japan. One team is based in somewhere else. Right. So this is the new form of organization which is coming. They will never see. I mean, less likely to see face to face each other, but through video calling or some way they will be connected. Okay. All IT delivery will be following this. Right. Now, how do we design the organization? What are the key elements on which organization design decision can be made? First and foremost is organization size. You want to manage 10 people or 10,000 people, right? Second is technology. Technology means not product they are selling, but what is the technology available to control the system. Okay. External environment and organization strategy, which we will see. Right. So, core processes, environment, strategy, goal, technology. Right. Now, same thing in a different manner. Okay. Right. Let's look at a technology. Okay. How technology can drive, can lead to you different organization structure. Okay. So, analyzability is basically ability required by an individual to analyze. Okay. Whether it is high or low. Okay. Variety of work handled. If it is high and low. Okay. So, if the job requires a very high level of analyzability but low variety, it's basically an assembly line. In an assembly line, you need to look at each and every part, right? But variety is less. You will have 8 to 10 products which will be manufactured. But while in case of engineering project, there is very high degree of analyzability required and very high variety. Okay, you will get, I mean, this project could be a building construction, next project is dam construction. So there is a huge variety, right? In case of possibility, analyzability is less and variety is also less. These are basically skill traders. Okay, casting companies. These are in this form. And very high variety but low analyzability is basically scientific research. Okay, to do the business, management need not to go into each and every person's work, right? So that's a scientific research. There could be independent people working, but there is a high variety. Right. Now, how environment impact this structure? So, if the rate of change is extremely high, right, then it has to be a team based, or they call it as a clan. There could be a formal structure or informal structure. If the environment is stable, then better to have a mechanistic structure. Okay. If environment is complex, then decentralization is preferred, because in case of complex situation, somebody at the root, at the forefront of the problem need to solve it, right? Simple, if the environment is simple, then less need to decentralize. It has to be centralized. We know what is to be delivered, when is to be delivered, then better to have centralized decision making. The environment is diverse. We are talking about variety of product, client, location. Then divisional form is preferred. When the environment is integrated, single product, current location, then it could be a functional group which can work. Okay. If the organization is hostile, it means there is a huge competition and or the resources are not available, then organic structure, because it has to evolve as and when required. Okay. And I mean organization is calm or beneficent, then we have plenty of resources, product is demand, then it has to be mechanistic because there is a process through which material only flow. Right. Now we have talked about the organization, right? But organization has to evolve over time, right? So typical IT jargon is change management. So there is a change management leader who will take care of everything and everything. But first of all, what is the organization change? Right? Organization will have to evolve constantly to meet the new demand, new requirements or new competition. Right? Let's say yesterday you are in, I mean you may be in same business, but the level of competition will change. The time to market has to change. Right? So in order to meet those things, organization structure or the way in which organization function has to change. Okay, the process is an organization change. Okay, there's a concept called change agent, person who anticipate and start the process of change is called as a change agent. Okay, so in terms of manufacturing per se, over time you can see where there is a variation in the productivity, right? So this, to meet this desired state, there has to be a change in which organization function. Okay, obviously the manufacturing process will definitely play a part, but no matter how much sophistication you bring to the manufacturing, the organization has to change to meet this desired state. So this is called change management. Okay. Now for a change agent who is initiating the change, he must understand what are the forces because of which we need to change. Okay. How should we change? What process we should follow, or what way in which it has to be improved? Okay, for example, productivity. Are you going to invest into human resources? Are you going to invest in the manufacturing technology, or are you going to invest in the number of units? Okay, and how part, obviously. So what causes organization to think for change? There are external factors, there are internal factors. External factor is competition, laws and regulation. For example, in case of automotive, emission regulation will force you to develop new products or new systems. Okay, new technologies. For that matter, till few years Nokia phone were extremely demand. Now everything is taken over by, I think, Google Android, right? So the app developer will have to take that consideration and change their technologies together, right? Labor market shift, obviously, because nowadays manufacturing companies are extremely, I would say, cautious about hiring a resource or getting a resource. Okay, business cycle, there will be ups and downs. In case of ups, you need to expand. In case of down, you need to contract. How can we do that? How can we make an organization which is adaptable to the demand? Okay, and social change. I mean, nowadays very few people prefer to go into blue collar job. They prefer to have a white collar job and everything. Obviously, there are some internal forces which act. Strategy modification, new equipment, new process. I mean, there could be many more. Okay, but these are the basic few things which is likely to call for a change. So three categories of change. I mean, are we going to change the structure? Are we going to change the use of technology? Or are we going to change the people? It might happen, especially IT again, because a technology change will call for a new set of developers, right? Or for that matter, in case of automobile, till few years back, all the vehicles were mechanical. Okay, a spanner or a screwdriver was sufficient. Nowadays, it's no more. Unless you have a electronics knowledge, you cannot touch the vehicle. So that's a technology. That's a people. You need to have people trained with this particular skill set. So this is the typical process in which change can happen. I mean, there are standard process which you need to follow. Okay. Okay. So there are two views in case of change management. Okay. So calm water, it means everything is cool, smooth, known. Okay. And white water, it means everything is continuously changing or there is a hostile environment. Okay. In case of calm water, basically what calm water means you know what is to be changed, when it will be changed, you know structured in which it is. But in case of white water, it means there is a continuous changing environment and need to adapt to that. Okay. So how do we change in case of calm waters? Okay. There are 3 steps which are proposed by Kurt Lewins: unfreeze, implement the change, and refreeze. Unfreeze means the driving force which direct behavior away from the state can be increased. Okay, there will be obviously resistance to change. So overcome that resistance. Make sure that the systems or resources are ready to accept that change. Okay, there could be ways in which restraining forces apply. Okay. In case of white waters, change is constant, it's a dynamic. I mean, if you change today, there is change required tomorrow. Okay. This is the typical process. People say this is followed, or it can change. It can change with the subject, or it can change with the time and everything. Okay. Basically create a sense of urgency. I mean, every stakeholder should realize that yes, we need to change and we need to change immediately, right? Second is what to change. There are many elements which we discuss can change and can lead to the organization change. Okay, they create a guiding coalition and mobilize the commitment, right? Everyone need to buy in for the change. Then develop and communicate a shared vision. Okay, obviously everyone need to change, right? But the rate of change required at each stage is different. Okay, plus empower employees to make the change, and employees should change, feel that I am part of this activity and I should change. Okay, then develop a short term wins. Okay, there should be a short term goal. For example, if you, in case of productivity, in a day you cannot go from X to Y. There has to be stages in which the things should flow. So that short term stages has to be figured out. Consolidate, gain and produce more change. So you go to one stage, make sure that you are reaching that stage and then going to the next stage. Anchor new ways of doing things in the company culture. Okay, the new changes has to be imbibed in the company culture. And lastly, just monitor and adjust vision as required. Okay. Obviously, we talked about there should be a change or why there should be change. But typically, there are main 3 reasons because of which people resist change. Okay. Because fear of unknown. People are so used to some particular condition that they prefer the way in which we have done things is the right. Okay. The fear of losing something of value, fear of losing a job, fear of losing a status, anything. Believe that change is not good. So this is typically in case of people who have worked with the organization for many years. They feel that this is the right way of doing things and no other way will work for our company. So these 3 fears had to be addressed in order to gain the people confidence. Now we'll talk about organization change. Okay, but what if there is a white water situation? There is a continuously changing or a dynamic environment. You cannot daily go and implement change management. So organization will have to evolve over time so that it is agile to the environment. Okay. So what is organization development? It's an approach to organizational change in which employees themselves formulate the change that is required and implement usually with the aid of a training or consultant. Okay, what it means is employees themselves are taking action to make change happen with or without aid. That's the organization development. Okay, so what way in which OD can be achieved? First of all, human process. So aimed at enabling employees to develop a better understanding of their own and other behaviors for the purpose of improving that behavior such that the organization benefit. It means employees should understand their own behavior, others' behavior, and how it affect the end result. Okay, how they can jointly work together to achieve the end vision. Sensitivity training. I mean, purpose of the insight into their own behavior and that of others by encouraging an open expression of feeling. So, okay, I mean, they understood about others, right? But they need to communicate well, right? They need to be sensitized about what is good and what is bad. Again, there should be a team. Okay, as we saw in the previous few slides, a team is best suited when small team or an informal team is best suited when we need to work in a continuously changing environment. And obviously survey, I mean, just to understand from the employees how things are happening and how things can be changed. Okay. Techno-structural applications of OD. I mean, obviously formal structural change program like intervention technique in which an employee collect information on existing process or organization structure and analyze it for the purpose of designing and implementing new organization structure. Here employees taking data, analyzing data, and then taking the decision that what should change. Okay. So what can happen or what can lead to stress in the organization? Okay, not because of OD but because of any other aspect. First of all, role conflict, where my role ends or what I am supposed to deliver itself is not clear. Somebody might be hired as a marketing manager and all of a sudden he will ask to look at the quality issues. Okay, so there's a role conflict. Or in case of software development or manufacturing, developer and QA are controlled by same person, right? So no matter what developer does, quality will have to accept it, because finally the individual's KRA is make sure the product goes out fast. Okay. Similarly, in case of quality, manufacturing, quality and procurement cannot work together, because procurement job is to source the material and quality job is to make sure that the only right material come inside the manufacturing unit, right? If those two are controlled by a single person, is most likely to make sure that whatever comes in goes out from the quality. Okay, so that's the conflict we are talking about. Role overload. I mean, you have 8 hours or 10 hours to work, but the workload which is assigned to you is of 2 people, so you need to spend 16 hours. Not possible. Okay. Role ambiguity. What I am supposed to do? I am supposed to do marketing. I am supposed to do quality. I am supposed to what I am supposed to do. Okay. These things have to be addressed while designing an organization. Or even in case of OD, these conflicts will have to be resolved. Make sure that the team forms a cohesive unit. Yeah. I mean, how to handle the conflict, right? So there are two aspects to it. Individual who is facing this trouble, okay, and others, okay. So first, y-axis, parties desire to satisfy own concern, okay, whether individual is accepting that yes, there is a issue and we need to resolve it, okay, and other is he knows or unknown, he is not known about other concern and ready to work towards it. Okay. So y-axis is about him or her understanding the problem and wanting to change, and x-axis is him knowing what others want and readiness for delivery. Okay. So topmost corner is collaborative. He or she knows, yes, there is a change required and I am ready to accept that change, and also he wants others to, or he is ready to help others, or he is ready to listen others to make the change. Okay, so that's a collaborative thing. Okay, competitive is, yes, I know how to change, but I don't want to help others. It means I want to stand out. So that's a competition. Okay. I mean, I don't want to change, others want to change, that's a avoidant, and better to stay away from that group of people anyways. And okay, I don't want to change, but I want others to change, or I am ready to help others. So assertive. Okay, ideally collaborative is the best thing, but that may not be possible always. Okay, so there could be compromise situation in which, okay, I'll go one step up, you come one step back, likewise. Okay, you can force somebody, you can confront somebody, you can control a process, you can give them, you can take it as a problem and resolve it, you can do some level of compromising, what we see. Okay, it could be accommodating, I mean, let that problem persist, but we'll take care with other means. And just avoid it, just neglect it sometimes. Okay? Any question? I know this is pretty boring subject. Okay, thank you.
This is the new series that we have started. We are going to provide the lectures from the IIM alumni who are very much experienced, and they are sharing really the good experience, which is very important for a professional life. While you are going to become a manager, and definitely these experiences and which they had shared and the examples which they had shared, they are definitely going to prove very fruitful, and definitely when you are going to face an interview, definitely you will be able to justify what you had learned and what exactly practically this is happening into the industry. So people want that, what exactly the practical knowledge do you have? So this is what the practical experience that you had. I think everybody has got through these particular lectures. So on behalf of Patil University Institute of Business Learning, I am very much thankful to Shri Vidyapeeth sir and Mr. Chaitanya